Hello, welcome to another Shed Talk. And I'm really looking forward to this week. I'm up really bright and early. I think a lot of my neighbours might still be sleeping. But I'm going to enjoy getting on with a few projects. And I'm going to get the lever press moving along. So I've done a bit more work on the lever press. This is going to be a 5-ton clicker press for cutting out leather shapes. And I'm doing quite a lot of bolt construction on it. But I'll also be doing some welding. And my old arc welder's packed up, so I've got one of these gasless MIG ones. I hope it's up to the job, because this is quite heavy plate, but we'll see. And then I'm going to be doing quite a lot more belts, and I want to try and get those completed. I've got them sort of half underway, but lovely bridle back leather, and so try and get the website restocked. And that sort of brings me on to something else actually, and that's the whole area of specialisation. And this sort of struck me. I've had a few people ask about dog collars and just look at my leather belts and saying, oh, I'd like a nice leather dog collar. Can you do me one? And so far I have resisted. And the reason I've resisted actually is I want to get belts and bags absolutely perfect. And I'm really sort of focusing on those. I have one of these slightly hoppy brains which can go on for other things, so I thought no, let's actually get, I'm still getting little refinements on the belts, and I feel I'm pretty well there, but you can always improve, and that's the thing about leather work. And it's the same with the bags. I'm learning so much with the bags. I have made a lot now and I've got some very nice feedback on them, but there's a lot to learn. And I guess whatever your craft is, specialisation is perhaps important. Some people, of course, would say, well, no, actually, be a jack of all trades, be flexible, make the dog collars, make whatever else someone asks you. I'm not taking that approach, but it's quite interesting. I think of some of my friends who perhaps do things like turn wooden bowls or make other items, other craft items, and quite a few of them do actually specialise, and I think that's the way you get your quality up and get really nice products and get a bit of a name for yourself. But it is an interesting area, and I sort of look at dog collars and think, well, yes, actually a lot of the dog collars, I'm not a dog owner, but I can see that a lot of the dog collars out there aren't very nice. And the idea of a nice vegetable tan collar that's been rounded on its edges is probably rather nice for a dog, and if you get a nice leather which has a little bit of give on it, that's going to be nice for a dog. It'll be nice for the owner when the dog pulls on the lead. So I'm sort of immediately thinking, oh, actually you could do quite a lot there. And then I sort of think about, well, if it's a hunting dog, I think people quite like round collars because they don't get caught in bushes in the same way as flat collars. And you can go on, and this is where of course the specialist comes in. And you get, it's just like with my belts. I mean, I've done endless refinements on those and continue to. But you do start, your brain gets whirring. Now, as I say, I've got a really hoppy brain, so I have to be very careful not to get distracted too much. So I'm not going into dog collars, although I have to be honest, it is tempting. This all slightly reminds me, it was back in the sort of mid-60s. I was only a child then, but I remember one Christmas, my parents got given 2 copies of the same book, and this book was called The Specialist, and you may have heard about it. It was about a chap who built privies, toilets, and he built them out of wood and was, well, a master of his art. He was a specialist, and it recounts various stories in there about how to build the perfect privy, and the little examples about where there's a farm with the workers were all spending too long on the loo. So he went in and he roughed up the seats with a file and made them a bit coarser, then waited outside, and of course people didn't stay in there so long. So the farmer was delighted, his productivity went up. But that's the role of the specialist. But it is an interesting area, and one which perhaps, with what you do yourself might be worth reflecting on, and perhaps, well, what's your approach? Do you think it's a good thing or not? So perhaps any comments on specialism down below. I don't know if I've got much more to say today actually. I think that's probably it, a nice quick update, but I'll be back later and let you know how this press is going. Thanks very much for watching and have a good week. Bye.